Hello everyone, this is Pamperchew. Today I'd like to show you something that I got at Surplus Gizmos. This is a ITP measurement computer, model 139A. I am not exactly sure what it was meant to measure, but we have some toggles here, a power, calibrate, and measure toggle, a zero, a knob, calibration knob, measurement, left and right arrow, and the zero button. And the reason why I picked this up was because of this display. This is actually Nixie tube display right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug it in and show you. But first, one last thing, we'll take a look at the back here. This is the plug for your instruments, I suppose. You got one here that's kind of like an audio jack, and then this one here. Alright, let's go ahead and plug this in and let it warm up. Alright, while this is warming up, I'll show you that the tubes are kind of blurry. Every segment seems to be lighting up until, oh, there's the first one. It takes about 5-10 minutes for it to get all the way warmed up. I don't know if this is normal, but this unit has been ran for a lot of hours, I was told. But there's the zero on that one. You can start to see the zeros. They'll fade in the next few minutes. This little switch here switches from the top arrow to the bottom arrow. Okay. Zero switch doesn't really do anything. Calibrate haven't gotten any of this to do anything. The only switch I can get to do anything is the power and this measurement. Let's take a look inside. Alright, so let me go ahead and grab these parts out. My plan for this was actually to turn it into a clock radio. I was going to gut out the things I didn't need, like these gauges here, and replace that with a nice aluminum panel and put my own gauges on that. I'll cut it off and make it fit neatly. Alright, so this transformer here has a 115 AC input and a 63 volt AC output. This one here, same thing, but with 12 volts of output. If we note where these connections are going, the 12 volt one seems to be regulated. I don't know if that's a 5 volt regulator. It really looks like that's what it is. And because it's going to be powering this board underneath the Nixie tube display, that's all TTL underneath. So that normally would run at 5 volts. Now the 64 volt, I am not sure what it's there for. The Nixie tubes run directly off of the 115. These two white wires right here go directly to the main power. They bypass the transformers. So that's the power for the Nixies, the AC power. These other pins here would be to select the numbers and things like that. So what I would probably need to do is gut out all this stuff here. I'll build a TTL clock, digital clock using TTL chips, and just hook it directly up to the display. The display on this one is made by Newport Laboratories. It's a model 200A-3. It's actually a 3 Nixie tube display with this thing here. Could be a digit 1. I might have to replace it. It looks like it might be burnt out there. But if I can get that to be a 1, I can do it, make it a clock. So you have 1 for 10, 11, 12 o'clock, and so on. And I was going to switch these arrows and put a different mask for AM and PM. It's a fun little project. This is my first Nixie tube item, and because it's not very it's not much of a historical piece, nothing special about it, I thought it might be okay to turn it into something useful that will be displayed. From the date codes on these parts, I'm assuming it's around the age of, mid 70s is when this was made. This is I think it's a bridge rectifier, this black box right here. It's a really interesting one though. I've never seen one that size for something this small. But you can see the 63 volts is going into that bridge rectifier, and then going into some of these connectors back here, probably to power some sort of probe for measurement. You can see it's starting to warm up all the way. The zeros are appearing. But yep, I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling things off, and getting this ready to be the front of a clock radio. I'm gonna leave the power switch and probably leave this calibrate measurement switch, but I will turn that over to an AM/FM switch.